How many times have you heard or said the affirmational phrase to yourself, abundance is my birthright? I say it to myself every day. But do you really believe that abundance is your birthright? And if so, in what ways do you embody that belief in your daily life? I've been thinking about it a lot lately for myself because I didn't grow up with the belief or self-concept that abundance is my birthright. And in so many ways, the opposite of that belief was instilled in me. And that's another story for another day. But every day I am actively uprooting those beliefs and shifting my mind towards abundance, mainly through gratitude, self-talk, the way that I take care of my body, which is my temple, because I'm just at a place in my life where I need to attract and experience abundance. And I need abundance in all the forms of love, freedom, peace, creativity, health, and wealth. Because the woman that I am today, I now know that abundance is my birthright. And if you landed on this video, it's because you too feel the need to attract abundance into your life in all its forms, because abundance is your birthright also. After all, your body is designed for abundance. But are you unconsciously resisting it? Follow along with me as I dive into what abundance truly means and the very foundation of it. And before I ask you to follow me, let me just introduce myself to those of you who are new here. So I'm Tiana James. I'm a body literacy coach and a menstrual cycle awareness educator. And my goal is always to help you to reimagine your relationship with your body from the inside out, helping you to truly understand the transformative powers of your menstrual cycle and your fertility. And I also love to take a metaphysical approach to menstrual health education, which translates to incorporating an understanding that goes beyond the physical aspects of the menstrual cycle, and it delves into the emotional, spiritual, and energetic dimensions. And that's exactly how I'm going to approach abundance through fertility in this video. All right. So to help me to fully grasp the concept of abundance, I conducted a word study on abundance. And just for the sake of time in this video, I'm going to just keep it simple. I'm going to stay with the definition of abundance. And abundance means a very large quantity of something, plentifulness. Abundance is also synonymous with an ample supply, overflow, and wealth. I often think of the Most High Creator, the source of life that created this entire universe that is so expansive that we as humans, God's most highest creation, still haven't been able to fully comprehend. And we are the physical manifestation of God's imagination. And so is everything around us. We have the abundance of life in the trees, the animals and creatures and plants and water and light. Even darkness is in abundance. The evidence of abundance is all around us. And that's only what's present here on planet Earth. God created an entire universe and everything in it in abundance. Every single thing that God created has the ability to reproduce in abundance. And reproduction has been the very means of how life has been able to sustain itself on Earth for millions of years. And if that's not a testament to abundance being your birthright, then what is? If every living thing on this earth has the ability to reproduce, then that means it must be fertile, right? That's the way of design through God's imagination. The source of life is the first example of fertility. God's imagination is overflowing abundantly with all that it created, producing self-sustaining life on earth. Again, the source of life in its fertile state extended fertility to every living thing and being on this earth. Even the soil must be fertile for the planet's seeds to be nurtured into thriving plants and vegetation. One single seed has the ability to grow into a tree that produces countless fruits each containing more seeds. Every living thing was created to have the ability to proliferate and multiply in abundance. Abundance is literally our birthright, and we must believe and know that for ourselves. But we also must be aware of the ways that we unconsciously resist that belief. So, of course, being a menstrual cycle awareness educator, I'm going to focus on the aspect of fertility. Again, God's creations are inherently fertile beings, and God created everything in perfection. The Most High Creator did not make any mistakes. And I've been trying to figure out a way to help women, particularly women, escape that narrow view of fertility as just a means of reproduction in the form of birthing babies. Because I know that so many of us are not desiring to have more children. And there are some women who do want to conceive and they want to become pregnant. But in my world, the majority of women that I know are in an avoiding stage of life. They've already had all the children they want to have. And then there's an increasing number of women who are choosing not to have children at all. And that's totally fine. Because another thing about the divine beloved's fertile imagination is that us humans, we were created to have free will, to choose how we want to move through this passage of life. We were gifted with that choice, the choice to reproduce whenever we want. Well, within the span of our reproductive years. And women, we have on average around 40 years of reproductive lifespan regarding birthing babies. So from your teenage years to maybe like your mid 50s, some women reach their 60s, you have the choice to reproduce or not. And even when you don't have the desire to reproduce, still on a cyclical basis, your physical body is constantly waxing and waning into and out of a fertile state, preparing to bear fruit. So in my attempts to change women's perspective of fertility, I went to the root of that word. So the word fertility stems from the Latin word fertilis, meaning bearing in abundance or fruitful. Historically, fertility was associated with the earth's abundance, growth, and continuous cycle of life. It was never solely about reproduction, but about thriving, flourishing, and the capacity to generate life in many forms. Even when we explore the cultural rituals of celebrating the spring equinox as a time of fertility, creativity, and renewal. So in the way that our Creator extended fertility to us, it also extended abundance to us. Abundance in all its forms. Abundance can be spoken about in an emotional and spiritual context, such as radiating an abundance of love and kindness. It can be spoken about in a metaphorical context, such as an abundance mindset to attract desires. It can be spoken about in a material context, such as a person of influence and great wealth. And it can be spoken about in a physical context, such as a garden that produces an abundance of fruits. Remember, fertility leads to abundance. So follow me as I explore fertility beyond the conception of babies. Fertility is the very source of creative energy and self-expression. Fertility symbolizes the ability to birth ideas, projects, and dreams into reality. Just as the womb is a space for physical creation, it serves as a metaphor for creative incubation also. So a fertile person is rich in imagination, just as God is. And you, being a child of God, are capable of producing art, solutions, businesses, movements that nourish both you and your community. Fertility reflects the natural state of abundance, embodying the potential for expansion and growth and continual evolution, not just in the body, but in all areas of life. And this can manifest as emotional growth, spiritual depth, personal transformation, and financial prosperity. Fertility represents openness and receptivity, the ability to receive inspiration, ideas, and opportunities and transfer them into real, tangible outcomes. Again, this is similar to how fertile soil receives seeds and nurtures them into thriving plants that we can use. So metaphysically, being fertile is about allowing life to move through you, without resistance. So I want to ask the question, are you aware of the ways in which you are unconsciously resisting abundance in your daily life? Think about that for a moment. Another point I want to explore is how abundance manifests symbolically through fertility and growth in relation to God's natural world and the earth's cyclical renewal and seasons of growth. So we know that spring symbolizes fertility, right? Birth and new beginnings, and it's marked by blooming flowers and budding trees and this awakening of energy and life. When we're coming out of the winter season, we're ready, right? We're ready. Summer represents growth, maturation, and abundance, with the crops ripening and nature is at its peak productivity. The birds, the animals, the creatures, the people are all at work and play throughout the summer. And then autumn comes around and it signifies harvest and fulfillment and preparation. So we're reaping the rewards for all the growth throughout the summer. And we're gathering these rewards to take them inside to use them throughout the winter. And then winter is symbolizing rest, but it also holds the seeds of future growth. So the symbolic interpretation of the seasons is that the natural world continually moves through cycles of birth, growth, harvest, and rest, reflecting the rhythm of abundance in life and fertility. So now I'm switching back into my menstrual cycle awareness educator role as I connect nature's abundance in relation to fertility and growth to the female reproductive cycle, following that same energetic flow. So when we look at the menstrual phase, when we're bleeding, our periods, they can be likened to our inner winter, where we honor the energies of rest, introspection, reflection, and renewal. And then following the menstrual phase, when we're done with the bleeding phase, we move into the follicular phase that can be likened to our inner spring, where we can take advantage of the rising energy as the egg cells begin to grow and mature within the ovaries. And then next is the ovulatory phase, which can be likened to our inner summer. And this is the time of peak vitality and fertility. In this phase, conception is possible. But ovulation represents the body's natural readiness to create life, reflecting physical and energetic abundance. But even when conception is not the goal, ovulation symbolizes the creative potential inherent in all women. Remember, fertility leads to abundance, which is a large quantity of something. So during this phase, your energy is at a peak, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, even sexually. But then right after ovulation, fertility becomes reserved for the duration of the cycle, which brings us to the luteal phase, that second half of the cycle, which can be likened to the inner autumn, where we're having the energy of harvest and preparation. So we're reaping exactly what we sowed, and it's going to manifest through the premenstrual and menstrual phase. So that means however you took care of yourself throughout the previous phases of the cycle are going to manifest physically with the presence or the absence of PMS around the menstrual phase that's about to cycle back around. So you can see how this monthly renewal of the menstrual cycle really mirrors the Earth's cyclical renewal, emphasizing that fertility is about creation in abundance in all forms and not just reproduction. But these energetic phases only occur when your cycles are flowing naturally without resistance. Which brings me back to the ways that women unconsciously resist their birthright to abundance by blocking the Creator's extension of fertility through hormonal birth control. When we allow our natural cycles to flow without the interference of man-made synthetic hormones, we can mirror the abundance that our divine beloved sourced within us. We all know that using man-made synthetic hormones is an intentional form of blocking fertility. But do you know that you're ultimately and maybe unintentionally blocking your birthright to abundance? So there's a master gland called the hypothalamus located in the brain, and it controls the entire reproductive cycle by stimulating the communication between the pituitary gland, which is also located in the brain, and the ovaries. So communication between the pituitary gland and the ovaries. Hormonal birth control works by blocking that communication between the brain and the ovaries. So yes, synthetic hormone birth control essentially takes control of your brain. And the brain is where our imagination and our creativity originate. And at the same time, the ovaries, which are located in the lower abdomen, that area is energetically linked to the sacral chakra, which also governs our emotions, pleasure, sensuality, and creativity. Our brain and our ovaries need to be able to communicate with each other in order to take advantage of our divine intelligence and abundant birthright. Because when this communication is blocked, it can lead to stagnation and congestion of our creative and abundant abilities. And there's several reasons that women use hormonal birth control. The most common reason is the one that I stated earlier, to prevent pregnancy by blocking your fertility, because you're either not ready to produce, in the form of birthing babies, you're either spacing your children, or you're just done having babies. And then another reason that a woman may be using hormones to regulate her cycle, or maybe mask some cycle, like disruptive cycle difficulties. But I just have to remind women that the presence of your fertility is actually a reflection of your overall vitality and wellness beyond the ability to conceive. Regular ovulation and true menstruation together have been considered the fifth vital sign of a woman's lifelong health. If you look that up, you're going to find that the menstrual cycle is the fifth vital sign. So remember, the creator didn't make any mistakes. And I'm here to tell you that it is possible for you to avoid pregnancy if that's your goal, while still allowing your natural cycles to flow. But this requires you to get to know your body's natural rhythms and learn how to identify the fertile phases. Your body is a divine gift, and there's divine intelligence and wisdom inside, constantly communicating with you. But the body doesn't have words. It uses a language of sensation and signals, and it's your responsibility to learn how to listen to her. So there's this internationally known author and speaker in the field of self-development. His name is Wayne Dyer, and he once said, abundance is not something that we acquire. It's something that we tune into. Okay, let that sink in for a moment, okay? Abundance isn't about acquiring an overflow or surplus of many things. It's about aligning with the energy that already exists within and around us. As a female, that root chakra is the foundation of the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the center of the female energy. It enables reproduction, the survival of the species, birth, and the creation of the new in abundance. Essentially, the sacral chakra is associated with your sexuality, your sensuality, and your creativity. And there's no need to block this energy. You just need to learn how to read it and interpret it. And I truly believe that every woman deserves this kind of body knowledge and awareness, because it's also your birthright, which is why I created a free resource to help women start on the journey of allowing their natural cycles to flow and embrace their inherent abundance. So my ebook is entitled Listen to Her, Mastering the Cyclical Nature of Your Body Through Menstrual Cycle Awareness. And it dives deeper into how your cycle and your fertility works, and how to avoid pregnancy naturally without the use of hormonal birth control, and how you can begin to reconnect with your body in a way that promotes healing. So I'm going to leave the link to that complimentary ebook in the description below. All right. But understanding your menstrual cycle, it can serve as like a diagnostic tool. And it gives you greater self-knowledge and authority and the power to make informed decisions about your reproductive health and your sexual health and your life, attracting that divine abundance in all forms. So I just want to thank you for taking this journey with me today. If this message resonated with you, if you found any value in this conversation, let me know in the comment section. And also be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and then share with any woman in your life who may need to hear this. Because together we can reimagine what it means to be fertile, abundant, and free. All right, so see you in the next video. Bye.